We do not own the rights to anything or any music that's heard during the duration of this podcast. Also, a lot of these shows will have explicit content. So if you are not a fan of any cursing or profanity, you may want to walk away, but that does not mean that every show will consist of such. I know y'all tired of it, but we got a new season of The Past. Welcome to season 8, the Mamba Year. Podcast available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of your podcast platforms. Here you'll get a dose of content related to tech, the productivity world, and most importantly, how to be a better you. The theme for this year, personally, is receiving grace. And we definitely want to do better with receiving it and being open to being a better us from who we were a year ago. So this is season 8 of The Past, and I hope you all enjoy. All right, so this might be outside part 2, because I haven't got to the part, and this will probably be a lot of background noise, but kids, kids gonna live, kids gonna be, so let them live, let them rock. But I'm sitting out here doing the park walk, catch up, reset, reflect, whatever, and for some reason, it's like it things hit for some reason. I don't know. I can't speak for nobody else, but it's almost like a personal thing with me. It's like things gotta like really resonate for me for it to like come home, or for in order for me to bring it all home. And today is one of them, like, it's bringing it all home. And what I mean by that is I've been very, very stagnant, very dormant, very minimal emotion. Um, and to say what I was saying, the theme coming into this month, or kind of pushing out there for the month of May, was May mindset. This is gonna be a fun one, because we're gonna have a whole bunch of kids just yelling. So I'm like, let me move from this area and take a little walk and continue on my journey. Is all that fenced off? It look like it's fenced off. It definitely look. No, it's opening over there. Okay. Um, telling you, you don't make sense of things until you get put in a position to make sense of things. And lately, it's been like the whole, okay, you ain't really seeing it. You don't understand why I'm putting you through this stuff. It's such a crazy thing, and I might be going into treacherous water, treacherous territory with what I'm about to say, but it's on me, so I'm gonna say it. And that is, we will find ourselves wondering, questioning, asking God, why? Why me? Why now? What made this all be what it is? And I even had this kind of a mini yet realistic conversation yesterday with a coworker is who's in my department with service desk, and he made a statement, and I couldn't even be mad at what he said because he was 100% right. But he literally was like, "This is what you asked for, though, right?" And when he said that, he meant it along the lines of like, I asked or had an idea or thought of wanting to do forms or working as an engineer, and I did. I think what happens is, and this is like tech 101, but this is also like reality 101. We look at something and think, oh, you have to be doing this and be in this role and do this type of. But in reality, that ain't what. If that wasn't the plan, then that ain't what's gonna happen. And the thing that's so ironic about that is people, we sometimes don't realize we have a lot more control over how something does or doesn't go, but it requires us to move a little different than we normally would. Case in point, I'm traditionally used to things, I don't even want to say things going my way, but things having to work out a certain way. And when they don't, I'm like the little kid that's like,
I'm gonna take my ball and go home. But in reality, life don't work like that. Life has never worked like that. But we've always been under this impression or this assumption that that's how life works, and it don't. And we know that, but we still do it. We're like, I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be difficult. I'm gonna challenge the process. All we really do is just end up doing whatever the thing is that we were intended to do all along. And for many of us, whether we're ready or open for that dialogue or that conversation, for many of us, that's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, it's challenging, it's eye opening, it's scary, it's different, it's new. Like literally, it is what's called or what's known as like uncharted territory. And we know that. We're very aware of it. But there's the acknowledgement of the uncharted territory or that high level of discomfort. Because for many people who look at it as things have gone this way for this long. I've been comfortable with it being this way for this long. So why all of a sudden now it's turning out this way? And this ain't the way that I planned or intended it to be. But it ain't about you. It's about the big dance. It's about the bigger picture. And the big picture can be very overwhelming for us, especially when we're navigating through our beliefs, through our thoughts, through life. Like I even had a form of a conversation with my mom the other day with church and churches how church is. It's nothing good, it's nothing bad, but it's church. And in many instances, no one really likes to say this, but it's also the truth if you really think about it. Church has been, for quite a while, will be stagnant based on how it's treated or how it's handled. And when I say handled or treated, I mean it as many cases, most people who are in your traditional churches have been at that church for a long time. So they know the church in so many words, inside out. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing to make like a big uproar about, right? However, the bigger picture comes into play when you look at your bringing in the younger generation, the newer generation, the the newer movement, the newer way of thinking, free thinkers. And it's not to say that free thinkers don't believe in there being a God or anything of that sort. It's just free thinkers are going to, as most free thinkers do, they're going to question it. They're going to ask questions. They're going to inquire. They're going to unpack. Everyone doesn't like the unpacking part. The unpacking part, for lack of a better term, is very scary. It's very overwhelming. It's very surprising. And if you don't know how to, it can be very overwhelming for someone to talk to about that eye of that perspective of that thought process. All right, first 20 done. Go me. All right, nothing important came in. Continue to be. All right, more outdoor walking. Let's do it. But yeah, your newer, your folks who are younger, folks who are in their, I'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s, they feel a little different. And a lot of your OGs don't get that. And I ain't gonna say it's all of them, Because some of them know where that and what time it is, and they know the vibe. But some is the only way that it's seen is the way that I know it is, and that's it. There's no other way that it can be, and you have to almost enlighten them, for lack of a better term, that hey, the needle's moving a little different now, and it's okay. For a lot of people, that's very overwhelming. It's very challenging. It's very taxing, and it can be a little blindsided if you haven't seen or looked at it that way. I'm gonna wrap this message up a little different and a little unorthodox, and it'll make sense why in a moment. But one thing I want people to do better in trying to become better people is embrace perspective. And embracing perspective means to understand that everybody ain't got to see everything the same way. Because the more that we can have those conversations of why some things can be a little different than others, the better it all can like come together. But not everybody seems to understand that. I'm walking. It's kind of the message, by the way. I'm with that. All right, how you doing? Afternoon. I'm gonna share something before we wrap this up, and it'll all bring it together. There's one thing that I will admit that I like was doing my walks early in the day compared to doing them at this time of the day. You can walk around with earbuds in your ear at 5 o'clock in the morning and nobody's tripping. You can walk around and talk to yourself and no one thinks you're weird at 5 o'clock in the morning. At this time of the day, sure, I can say this and look, oh, I'm on a phone call. However, the more blatant and more obvious look is you talking, but not really anyone understanding what I'm talking about or why I'm talking. It's a very weird instance, but it's also a realistic instance that happens. And I'm going to be open in admitting that it is a very new world with doing these walks at this time of the day. It's almost, I'm saying almost, but realistically, it will force me to do an impromptu journal entry about walking in the afternoon versus walking early in the morning. How y'all doing? All right. I've normally been accustomed to, like I said, 5 a.m. guy. And a lot of people get really un, I won't even say unhinged, but like concerned. They're like, you get up that early every morning? Yeah, nobody else will do it for me. I got shit to do. I got stuff to take care of. And I've noticed personally, there's a difference in the process between when I have been doing it and for these last couple of weeks of me not doing it. So this might be a kickstart, even though it's in the middle of the day, to get back in that habit of keeping the body in motion, keeping the mind moving. So I know I said I was going to end this a while back when I talked about perspective, but I had to add that second piece in there because it's real, and somebody needs to hear it while it's fresh on my spirit to address or talk about. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm gonna continue this walk, And if I pace this right, I think I should get to the house probably with maybe 5 minutes to spare. I don't know, but we're gonna work this out. Until next time, y'all take it easy.
Truly hope you all enjoyed the show. Definitely was a lot to unpack, but I know you'll walk away with something important. As I share at the end of each season, do find your way to get into podcasting if it's something you would like to do. My podcasts are currently recorded via Buzzsprout. Been very good to me. If you want to learn more about using them, definitely hit me up at thepastbtpod@gmail.com. And also the microphone that you're hearing me on is the Blue Yeti X. Have been rolling with it for over 3 years. We've been doing this ride for quite some time, so I hope someone could find this mic useful. Again, find those people who are good or helpful in what you're trying to do to be better today than you were yesterday. The primary goal is to be 1% better. Hope you all have an amazing day, and we'll be back again to do this next time.